Welcome back to DVC Weekly. This is episode 59. My name is Jason Erpelding. I'm the broker of Buy and Sell DVC, and I'm here with Scott Ferrioli.
I'm the owner of DVC-RENTAL.com and Buy and Sell DVC.com.
And today is March 23rd, 2022. So your 11-month booking window at your home resort is going to be February 23rd, 2022. And the 7-month window is... Wait, is the 7-month window October? That doesn't sound right. Is that right?
That is correct.
October 23rd, 2022. And we're going to start today with DVC-Rental. Remember the dash to save the cash. Let's see what kind of information Scott has for us today.
It's exciting. I get to lead off. So online, we did a quick poll of what are the top 5 breakfast options at Disney, the restaurants.
Oh!
Not like, pick the specific food, but actual like restaurants. And I have not gone to a decent amount of these because I'm not a real big breakfast person. But I have a lot of friends who are apparently, and they love these.
Is this, can I ask, what was the approximate number of votes? Or?
I can't tell you that. That's all proprietary.
Gotcha.
Yes. So, number 5 on the list, and one of the things I'll mention later on is very interesting, is that number 5 on this list is Tusker House, which is at Animal Kingdom. Have you?
No.
Are you a breakfast guy? Have you done breakfast in the parks?
I see one. I see if I'm not okay. I'm going to stop peeking. I'm going to let you go.
So number 5, I've not been to Tusker House. I've heard very good things, but 5 was Tusker House. Number 4 is Chef Mickey's, which is at Contemporary or Bay Lake Tower. Bay Lake Tower is just a quick walk via Skybridge over to Contemporary. Number 3 on this list.
I just want to mention on that one. I feel like everyone's been to Chef Mickey's.
I haven't been to Chef Mickey's.
You what? Have
I have not.
What?
I have not been to Chef Mickey's. I'm not a big breakfast person, and truthfully, they hashtag thrifty here. They charge so much for the breakfast. I sit there, I'm like, I'm not gonna eat $40 worth of scrambled eggs and bacon. It's not really worth it personally to me, especially when you live down here. If you're vacationing and you're in the Magic and you want to take your kids, I understand that completely. But when you live here, I'm going, I go to Cracker Barrel and get a nice big breakfast for $9, or I could drive the same distance and go over to Chef Mickey's and pay $45 for it. I don't like the characters that much. I need to have Mickey, taking pictures with me. Again, when you have young kids and
when you have that's the key. When you have young kids, your kids are 4 and 2 or 6 and 4,
and you're paying the money to vacation down here. 100% makes sense that you want to do these special things with your family. When you go on vacation, you overpay for stuff to have the memories. Considering I live 5 minutes from Chef Mickey's, I don't really need to spend $40 to go have some waffles. However, I will say that the Mickey waffles are absolutely fantastic. I mentioned, remember last week I had mentioned I visited a friend of mine who was staying at Disney Springs. Mm-hmm. Saratoga Springs, and her family loved it and everything. I remember her daughter. She said her daughter was just like going nuts for the Mickey waffles. I went to visit her, and the two kids were sitting there eating breakfast in the room. And I was like, "Where's your other daughter?" She's like, "She has to have Mickey waffles." So they were out, I guess, at maybe like Artist Point or Palette, getting Mickey waffles because their daughter had to have the Mickey waffles, and Mickey waffles are really good. So that was Chef Mickey's. The next 2, I haven't done any of these for breakfast, but number 3 is Whispering Canyon Cafe at Wilderness Lodge, which I love Whispering Canyon Cafe. I've gone there many times for lunch and dinner, not really breakfast. They do have the breakfast skillets there where it's all you can eat, they're all pretty much all you can eat. But everything I've seen, it looks really, really good there. And I love Wilderness Lodge and Whispering Canyon Cafe, so you can't go wrong. 2 was Boma, which I was a little surprised that Boma came up so high on this list. But I've done Boma in the last 7 months. I've done Boma 3 times for dinner. I absolutely love Boma. So I've heard the breakfast is really, really good. It's expensive, and I just can't. I'm sure I'll end up going sometime soon, because I know our buddy Chris Malik is a huge Boma fan for breakfast. And I'm sure I'll end up being taken to Boma at some point and dragged over there. But really, really good. The main one that I'm really interested in trying out is Topolino's at Riviera. Now, I have not eaten at Topolino's yet. Their dinner's pretty expensive. I don't know if I really want to go there for dinner. I do want to go for breakfast because a lot of these places are buffet style. And it's like eggs and like some less expensive stuff. Topolino's has like more expensive things. Like they have a whole like steak platter and like polenta and a bunch of different things. And you can order more than one thing. And they have sour cream waffles there. They're supposed to be like really, really good. So that looks really, really interesting to me. It's expensive, but knowing that I get not more of a buffet style food, but this seems like it's more cooked, specifically for you, and you can order multiple things and get refills. It's kind of like being on a cruise ship. I definitely want to try that. And I mean, everybody I've spoken to has raved about Topolino's for breakfast. And one thing I want to mention is that 4 out of the 5 of these are at Disney resorts. These aren't even in the parks. It's the resorts. And these are DVC resorts that you stay at. And you've got some great food options, especially for breakfast as well. And all of these restaurants, do dinner and stuff as well. But I mean, for breakfast-wise, you've got some really good options. And again, I'm really trying. Riviera, I did the quick service, and the food was really some of the best quick service I've ever had. I did a review on it many episodes ago. Really, really good. But again, Topolino's is supposed to be really, really great for breakfast. I mean, I have a friend who's a server there, and friend of the family, I should say, and just we should go visit her at some point and check it out because I know she's happy there. She loves Topolino's and definitely want to check that out.
Nice. Yeah, because you're always at Riviera playing bocce ball. You gotta go there for breakfast.
I do enjoy the bocce at Riviera. They need more bocce places at the other resorts. My kids love the bocce.
So they'll be turning pro soon on the bocce circuit. So now we're on to your food review of the week.
Come here, I'm gonna eat you! Get in my belly!
All right, so I'm gonna switch from food to go into my food review here.
It's a food theme all around on this episode 59.
And I'm sticking similar to where I've been the last 2 weeks because this was all in one trip. We were at the Geyser Point Bar and Grill at Wilderness Lodge / Boulder Ridge / Copper Creek. I'm still at Wilderness Lodge because this is all in the same little trip I took there. But this is the counter service inside Wilderness Lodge. This is called the Roaring S'mores. Now, this was a chocolate mousse graham cracker cake, caramel marshmallow for $6.19. The mousse was really tasty on it. The graham cracker was just kind of fair. And the marshmallow topping they had on there had to be cut with a knife. It was really, really hard. There was also a center portion of chocolate that had Crispies in it that they didn't even mention on there that was completely frozen and rock solid. It was tasty, but we take pictures and everything. So, I'm trying to cut it and I'm hitting something the knife is not moving. I'm like, what the heck is this? That wasn't even on there. So just so to be aware of it's chocolate, like little Crispies, like Rice Krispie stuff in it. We had to dissect it and eat it in layers because of the chocolate and because the marshmallow had to be cut with a knife. It was just literally, we had to dissect the whole thing and eat it. And it was fair. I gave it a 5.4. It's $6.19, so it's not something I would ever really probably get again because it's relatively expensive and it wasn't that great. I mean, again, it was okay. It was a cupcake.
How big? Oh, it's just a cupcake?
Yeah, it's a cupcake, but again, the thing is, it had different layers on it, and when you're trying to get through them, it didn't work. You literally had to dissect the cupcake and eat it individually, or you're cutting off a piece of one and mixing it with a piece of another with a fork and eating it because you couldn't easily bite into it just because the center was frozen and the layer of marshmallow was really, really hard. But part of it, again, the mousse was really tasty. Graham cracker cake, it just tastes like a regular cake, which I don't know if it really tastes too much like graham crackers, but it was fair. It was not very s'more-y.
I mean, the fact that it has chocolate mousse, graham cracker cake, caramel, that sounds amazing. But
yeah, it wasn't like a...
I can do a lot of stuff with that there, and it would turn out to be like a 9.2. So.
Exactly, and this was not my favorite by far. Again, fair, 5.4. It's not like it's disgusting or anything. If you get it, you're like, oh, this is okay. But I can't imagine many people are going back and saying, I need seconds of this. But
I'm sorry, I can't see the photo right now. So it just looks like this. It's like a...
I don't remember exactly what the photo looked like either, but it was just kind of like in layers. Just a like cupcake layer and then I think maybe chocolate and marshmallow. But again, the marshmallow is supposed to be soft.
Yeah, it's supposed to be soft.
I had to cut it with a knife. And could put effort into cutting it. It should have been.
We got to stop this review. That's just.
I don't want to say like marshmallow fluff, but it should have been soft and literally knife cutting and effort to get through it. And then all of a sudden there was a frozen center that was not even mentioned on there. It was a surprise. I could say that I definitely did not get what I expected when we bought this cupcake, because I didn't think we were going to have to cut it, put it in different layers and eat it individually and use a knife to cut through the marshmallow and a frozen middle. So it was different, but again, not terrible tasting. It's a cupcake. No cupcakes are that bad.
So he used the word terrible and disgusting, I think.
I said it's not terrible or disgusting.
So now
Trying
we're
to twist
on,
my words.
So now
Do your thing.
Now we're on to the buy and sell side, and again, we're still like in question mode here. So a big thing is, if you're out there, you're thinking about DVC. How do you get started on deciding on DVC? The first thing you want to ask yourself is, how far in advance? When you become a member, how far in advance can you make reservations? Whether it's has to do with your job, your lifestyle, whatever the case may be. Realistically, just look at previous vacations the last couple of years. How far in advance, did you make those reservations? Because if you make them 7 to 11 months in advance and you think you're going to do that, you're going to decide one way or another. And then if you make your reservations less than 7 months in advance, your home resort's really not going to be a factor. So that's really the key thing, is how far in advance. You want to start with that question. You want to get that, discussed as a family, and then
If you're only able to plan a month in advance, typically, DVC might not even be for you.
right, that is correct. That's when you're just going to want to, follow the deals page and see if there's something over
Something
there
last
that you
minute
can
that
rent.
works.
Right.
Good point.
And then the next thing is, when do you normally travel? We have point calculators. You can put in a check-in date and check-out date, and you can look at the different resorts, different size accommodations, and say, okay, if we go this time, it's going to be 178 points. If we go here, it's going to be 212 points. If we go here, it's going to be 116 points. You want to get an idea of what you would use as a family for your vacations. You can sit there and you can calculate out for 2022, 2023 vacations. And then if you get that far, then you want to say, well, is there a certain time of year that we travel? Because then that's where the use year is going to be a factor. Because if you always vacation in December, you want to buy that December use year, or you go backwards, October, September, August.
And what's the reason for that?
That's in case you ever have to cancel a reservation. So if you normally travel in December and you have a February use year and you cancel in November, you're past your banking window, and now your points have to be used by the end of January. And if you're canceling that December, maybe unfortunately, your 6-year-old just broke their arm and you don't want to travel. Well, you're probably not going to make it by the end of January either. Yeah. And so now you're going to have to, you're just going to lose the points. They have to be used if you bought the wrong use year, you bought a February use year, you can't bank them, they're going to expire. So that's why if you know when you're going to travel, if you buy the right use year, something happens, you cancel 31 days prior to checking in, you still have plenty of time to bank your points. It's not going to be a factor.
This is why you want to go through a broker like Jason who knows what he's talking about.
And then if you've never made an offer, it might be, it might be a nervous experience, when you make your first offer. Because some people are so nervous, I say, listen, start your offer $15 less a point. Because, most likely the seller's not going to accept the offer. They're going to counter somewhere, and then you can be like, oh, okay, so these do have, because there's a lot of, negative talk when it comes to timeshares, So there's, so some people say, well, timeshares, they're not worth anything, whatever,
That's not Disney's.
That's not Disney at all.
Disney's.
There's this whole Disney, vacation club world where they know what the market is, and there's a lot of people that sell properties constantly, buy properties constantly, and then you have someone on the outside that's not familiar with it, they get nervous. So you can make a low offer, and then when you see the counter, you're like, oh, okay, so these do have value to them. Okay, now I see. Because if someone makes an offer and then, sometimes buyers makes an offer, if it gets accepted right away, they're like, wait, this is too good to be true. So if it's your first time and you want to make a low offer just to understand the market, there's no problem with that. We present all offers.
Let me jump in if you don't mind for 1 second. Also, feel free to go to our Facebook page and check out our group, Disney Vacation Club Resales DVC. There's like 18,000 people in there. If you're nervous about something, feel free to ask a question, whether it's to us or if you don't want one of the professionals as we sell them. Feel free to ask any of the other members. We encourage questions on there, so you can go in there and say, I'm thinking of offering $130 on an animal kingdom contract that has this. What do you think? And other people will jump in and give you advice as well. So while Jason knows absolutely what he's talking about, we understand that he sells the contracts. And if you're uncomfortable, if you're a little worried, or you want an unbiased opinion, please join our Facebook group. And there's a ton of people on there who would love to help you. And Jason is the guy who can get it done for you. But we understand that sometimes you don't want to talk to the person who's selling the contract or selling the car. You want somebody outside who can kind of give you what you think is an unbiased opinion. And we'll always try to give you our best opinion as well, honestly. But again, join the resales group and somebody will jump in and help you too.
And of course, there's so many options now that can be good or bad, because, when back in 2004, when you really only had options of Old Key West, Boardwalk Beach Club, Hilton Head, Vero Beach, when you had less options, a lot of times the decision's easier to make.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So now if you're new to DVC, it's like walking into the cereal aisle in Publix, and there's 87 different cereals. And if you're new to cereal, you're like, okay, where do I start? So if you go down this, you start with how far in advance you plan your vacation. Well, the other thing I didn't mention is if you do have a favorite resort. If you rented from DVC-Rental and you love the Boardwalk because of its location to Magic Kingdom, or if you stayed at the Boardwalk and you love the, everything going on there, or the Beach Club, whatever. If you already have a favorite resort, well, then of course if you can make the reservation 7 to 11 months in advance, well, that's the resort you want to buy. So, with some of these questions, if it's overwhelming, you start answering these questions, it can help you make a decision better, because then you can narrow down, okay, we need to either own at this resort or this resort. This is the number of points we need to own, and we need to look for these use years. So if you're, it may be overwhelming, but if you start, answering these questions between yourself or you and your family, it's going to help make the decision easier.
Yeah, I was just thinking about when you were mentioning it, like it's not even a lot of times like an apples to apples comparison, because you're sitting there going, there's 14 different resorts, and you go, but this one expires at different dates, and this has a different maintenance fee, and this one is closer to so there's a lot of things to really consider. And we never rush you into anything. We always say the most educated client is our best client, because we want somebody who's thought it out, somebody who's not just making a last minute decision to buy something. Take your time, think about it, figure out exactly what you want, and we'll make sure we get you what you're looking for and what will work best for your family. So a lot of times also you have to think about how many people are in your family. Some of the studios sleep 4, some sleep 5. There's lots of different things that can kind of play into effect, and a lot of it can be intimidating.
Well, if you need a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom, then you probably don't want to buy a Polynesian.
Correct.
Because they only have studios and bungalows. So, you can start, crossing out resorts. Like, this resort's not for us.
Jason, I know I've said this many times, he's been doing this for 17 years. He knows what he's doing. You can sit there and say, tell us, I normally vacation around this time. This is what my family consists of. Potentially going forward, there could be additional members coming to the family, whatever it is. And, we could sit there and help narrow out some stuff. Just like Jason said, there's going to be 6 of us. Don't buy Polynesian. Unless you want to try to do multiple studios every time, because they only have studios and bungalows, don't do poly. Or I'm looking for this long. You go, you're young. You might not want to look at one of the 2042 expirations, or, everything's different price, maintenance fees. So again, if you give Jason a good understanding of what your family likes, what they're looking for, how long you're looking maybe to own, what your vacation preferences are, like how far in advance you book, Jason can sit there and go through it instead of you going through doing hours and hours of this stuff, Jason can go through and probably knock off 6 of them off the list immediately, and then you can stay focused and then try to figure out which of the remaining ones will work best for your family.
Definitely. And
Talk to the pro.
because the thing about it is really, if you're coming to Disney on a regular basis and you see the Disney Vacation Club, advertisements, to me, looking into it and figuring out if it's for you or not that's what you want to do. Because if you look into it and you figure out it's not for you, then you know. But if you look into it and you're like, okay, yeah, we need to get in. I mean, most members say their biggest, they just wish they would have got in earlier.
That's mine as well. I wish I bought earlier, but I waited till it was right for my family. We had enough money put away for it. But looking back, I go, man, I wish I'd bought earlier. But I don't know if I had spent all that money earlier, how that would have affected things going forward. So I go, you know what? I can't look back on it. I'm happy I bought it when I did, and I'm happy with what I've got since then. So I can't complain at all.
So we hope you got some information out of today's episode, and we appreciate you watching. Be sure to hit the subscribe button. We got to get up to 1,000. I'll be back in a golf shirt. And hit the like button, hit the bell notification.
Check out our social media. We're on TikTok under DVC Scott, but we've got Twitter. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're all over the place. So please check out our social media. We've got lots of pictures and videos and stuff that we always try to publish for everybody to keep everybody in that Disney mood.
And if you see Scott at the parks or at the resorts,
buy me snacks.
Just come up to him.
I need more snacks.
Just say, Scott, are we doing a food review today? Where are we going?
I'll put you on live. We'll get a snack. We'll take a video of you, both of us eating the food. We'll be happy about it, and I'll get some free food out of it.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks for watching.
We appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful day.